I want to talk about the admin bot and Kyle in general and what he's done very recently, where he's released some data and amazing infographic information about the WordPress community. There'll be a link below so you can go and see the article and obviously visit the admin bot. It's been voted the #1 WordPress community, and Kyle is a great down-to-earth guy. You know, even underneath that baseball cap, he is a real person. Let's just cut to the chase. What did he do? He surveyed 667 people. They are not robots or chat GPT AI powered individuals. These are real WordPress professionals. And he did this really recently in February. And what he did was formulate a lot of results. And I have to say, a lot of them are stuff that you're going to look at and go, yeah, I can relate to that. Or maybe you're going to take a step back and go, I didn't think about that. And maybe I need to reconsider what I do with my business or my approach. Let's just go to the very first one straight away. What is your capacity? How many of you are working on this full-time and a side hustle? I am 100% full-time, gave up my day job and I am loving it. Hey, you got to put in a bit of time. But 23% are doing it as a side hustle. I would love to know more about what they're doing in terms of their full-time job. Maybe they work as a solicitor and they love to build websites in the evening to help convicts. I don't know. But 77% do it full-time. But 23% are side hustle. Now, it could well be, though, that maybe different geographical regions of the world, it's more better to do it as a side hustle on top of other jobs that you might have. But I thought that was a pretty interesting statistic. And I got to tell you right now, I know it's just a pie chart, right? But I love the infographics, the branding, the color. Kyle, amazing job. I just love the look of that. How many years have you been in the business? Well, I've been working on websites, mainly on and off for about 18 years. And our agency, we picked it up a gear in 2020 during the lockdown. And I went full time with it. So it was no longer a side hustle. So I would fall into the 16 to 20 year category. So I'm in with about 10% of people. But the bulk of the community, or who was surveyed, and I know it's only 667, and WordPress community is hundreds of thousands of people, but 33% are 1 to 5 years. That means there's going to be a lot of people that are just starting off, you know, trialing it out, or maybe they're doing quite well. And you would expect, though, numbers to be over 20 to be quite small, mainly because the internet didn't really take off in my life until about 1997 is when I really started to experience it when I was at university. What about your team size? Now, I tend to do a lot of the creative work in the website design and the YouTubing and social media-ing and stuff like that. But I do have another business partner, and we do have people we can rely on as well. So we would fall into the 23% category of 2 to 3 people, but 59% are kind of working on their own. And I do wonder, though, are they completely working on their own? Do they never outsource? I mean, when I say outsource, I mean, do they rely on people? So maybe they might come along to the Web Squadron Facebook group, or even the admin bot, or WP Tuts, or anywhere else around the world. You know, are they completely working on their own? But I think it's quite interesting to see that 59% are on their own. And you could, if you go back all the way over here to where we have 33%, where they've just started off in the 1 to 5 year bracket, it wouldn't surprise me that they are maybe only working on their own because they're starting off their new design business venture. The state of WordPress. This is an interesting one. So 4% do have a negative view of WordPress. Now, is that because you haven't seen it evolved as much? I mean, you could argue like in the last 20 years, WordPress has evolved, but it is at a slightly slow rate compared to what you see plugins or themes, templates do over the last few years. Agency trajectory, yeah, we're growing. We are definitely growing. I mean, the moment we kind of picked it up a gear in 2020, we started growing. And 2021 and 2022, and at the time of recording, well, especially since last year when I went full on in on this, we are growing really well. Not just because of the YouTube as well, mainly because of the way we approach things. You got more time to seek out, you know, clients, leads, proposals, engaging with people. So if you are working on it full time, I'm not surprised if you're going to feel like you are growing as an agency. 4% are declining. Why is that? Is that because you are doing it as a side hustle? Remember, Start to put all the statistics together. Don't just look at something in isolation. 23%, or whatever was the number now, were doing it as a side hustle. So maybe if you're not putting all your time in, or you're trying to juggle lots of things, your capacity is stretched. Maybe that's why you're on the decline. Maybe. I don't know. You're struggling to get clients. Maybe you're always in the low priced model. I got nothing against people that use Upwork or Fiverr, but if that's your main source of income, you're always kind of, doing a lot of work for very little return. But in some geographical locations, that return might be a great pot of money for you. 31% are stagnant. And this is where I would probably say, look, you'll see a link below for how to start a web design business. We've got a new super course coming out. Maybe you need to re-explore and think about how are you approaching clients? How are you upscaling or outsourcing? Have you got a pricing strategy? Have you got a pricing ladder? Are you just offering, hey, we build your website for $50? Well, what if you got to now build a website that takes 2 months? Oh, we'll charge $100. Like, really? Does that really translate into value for time? Website, project, price. I mean, look, you can see the bar chart over there, but I want to show you the table because my face is covering it ever so slightly. You can see the middle bar there. Well, that's this one over here with $2,500 to $5,000. There is a downward arrow over there because it's obviously saying that the amount of people charging that has started to drop, has declined a little bit compared to when this survey was previously done. And there's been an increase in the next level, which is the $5,000 to $10,000. But that 2.5 to 5, I'll be honest, is kind of like the sweet spot for us as well in terms of where a lot of our website builds tend to fall. When we start to enter into more complex sites that are going to take a bit more time or longer than a week, then we start to enter these brackets. I'll be honest, we've never hit the 10,000 and above. Loads of you are going to go, what? We're always charging clients over 10,000. That's great for you. Doesn't fit our pricing model or our business strategy at the moment. Anyone here that's getting over 40,000? Well, I mean, it is only 1% of the market, and that's kind of true, but you're obviously doing well. But what's interesting is that when we look at it, the bulk of the results are showing 2.5 to 5, and then we get a lot of traction with just above and the below market. Fiverr Upwork area is probably going to start to hit into this area here, but this does not surprise me. And hopefully, as a business, you will review your prices on a regular basis. Look, we gave a quote to someone in September, so about six odd months ago now. And they have not agreed to it yet. They're definitely working with us, but they need to finalize something. And I just went back to them and my prices, I said, look, I'm really sorry. That was over 6 months ago. The prices have now gone up by 30%. They've agreed to it. So if you are always like stagnating on a certain pricing structure or how you price up your work, you might want to think about adjusting that, especially if you're in more demand or, well, the world moves on, right? Life changes. But I think this is a great bit of information we're getting out here over what are people charging. Now, word of warning, just because, 6% are charging over $10,000 does not mean you jump into that. You got to review your client base, the kind of people you're working with, the kind of businesses as well. Is that going to fit with your model or your leads? So don't just jump to that without being able to kind of justify it internally and externally. How do you justify something externally? Well, you're not spitting sputum everywhere. Or crap. Anyway, 2022 revenue. This is quite an interesting one. You can see some numbers there, but take note of the bars there. So 40% were kind of just made about $50,000. Not surprised there actually. Especially maybe geographically with where people are based. Look, if you make $50,000 in the UK, you're kind of okay with that. 50,000 in America, you're going to want to make a bit more. 50,000 in Thailand or India, you're going to be going, what? Right? So the amount of money you make is going to be kind of relative to where you're living. But it's interesting to see, though, that there is actually 1.85%, which works out to 12 people when you multiply that by 667 that are making over $1 million. Like, wow. Now, this is based on your net profit. Okay, so you have you'll have your sales, you'll have your gross profit, and then you have your net profit. After you slice off your overheads or what you're paying, you might look at this and think, well, I fit into this bracket over here, 80 to 100%, because you get your client to buy their domain, their hosting, their licenses. Your electricity cost or your broadband cost is almost negligible, because like you do so much work. How do you split it per job, and you're probably doing other stuff as well. I bet you are doing other stuff at the same time. So you fit into here. But then that's assuming you don't take any salary. Now, if you are taking a salary or director, dividends or wages or whatever, you might find yourself surprised to think, actually, we fall here. And we do actually fall here, because I know that we always like to leave like 20% left away in case of emergencies or issues or things like that. So when we slice off, the dividends or salaries or anything like that, we do fall into that as well. For us to like fall into the 80 or 100, we probably would have to be earning $1 million like we showed you earlier. Then we could probably say, yeah, now we are hitting the 95% profit margin. We always love to talk about recurring revenue, and we talk about that in our super course on how to start a web design business. By the way, there's a link to that as well if you want to go and check it out. So we're being told that 33% achieve up to about 20%, 19% of recurring revenue. That doesn't surprise me really at all, because if you're building websites, the bulk of it is going to come from the website build, and then you're going to get like your maintenance plans or care packages. You might be charging $50 a month, $100 a month, maybe even more. I mean, there's some people out there charging £2,000 per month. Big agencies, and they're doing really, really well. Or maybe you do build websites, but you've got a history, a legacy. You've been building websites for 20 years. You've got like 100 people paying you $50 a month. Just do the mathematics on that, right? You don't have to always be building a website to generate income. What is your hourly rate? The average is $96 per hour, which I think works out to about £79 in the UK. For consultation with Web Squadron, with me, one-to-one video call or anything like that, I do charge £120 an hour. So I'm in the upper bracket. And that's about what, $150? And some people are going to say, I would not pay that. Well, that's up to you. You don't have to go for it. Website accessibility. We can see the bulk of it says that they strive for best practices. Some don't even consider it, which I think is a bit poor. You really should, because you don't want to alienate a part of the community and the world. I kind of jump around between these two areas here. I will always try and do the best I can from an accessibility point of view, but often it also comes down to what is the client paying. And if you give them an itemized like build cost and you explain, well, here's your website build. If you want really optimized page speed as well, as best as we can, as a bit extra, do you want SEO, accessibility, how high do you want to make the standard? So you can adjust your pricing as well for that. Search engine optimization. Most people just do the basics. Really? I mean, I fall into this one here. I do as much thorough SEO as I can. It's not just the installation and the titles and descriptions. I like to think about the keywords. I like to think about the flow, the funnels. I like to think about loads of things, okay? I want to try and maximize as much as I can. In fact, I will give our clients a page based on your specific website and your business and your niche and your client base. This is what you need to be doing on social media as well. This is how you need to be marketing yourself. Here's what we can do on your website to help you out a little bit further. But don't be surprised by that, because I see a lot of people on Fiverr going, yeah, we'll do your SEO. And all they're going to do is install Yoast or Rank Math. Just do your settings. You're lucky if they even properly submit you off to Search Console and do your analytics and make sure your indexing is all set up. But just going to do the basics. And when it comes to your title and descriptions, they'll just put whatever they got to put to get you a decent score without really thinking about the questions that people are going to be searching for on Google that you really want to be hitting high on. One of my favorite ones. Do you charge for paid discovery or project discovery or a discovery call? Yeah, we do. I mean, obviously, sometimes, you speak to a client, you get a feeling for, is this like a yay or nay? Where's this going? Maybe they're ready to work with you to pay the deposit, and you're going to do a lot of the discovery during the meetings after the deposit is paid, so then it's kind of paid for. But if you really are going to go into the detail of what you're going to do for them, the what, the how, the when, the why, you want to get paid for it. Otherwise, you will tell them everything. This plugin, and this is how we'll approach it, and this is what we'll do, and here's the compromise, and here's the cost, and blah, blah, blah. And they take all of that intelligence and they go elsewhere. And you've spent like what? 1, 2, 3 days, weeks sorting out, problem solving. How can we do this? This is what they want. I'm going to go to all the forums, find my solutions, tell them they'll love me. Yeah, they will love you for it, and then they go elsewhere. And I talk about that a lot in the How to Start a Web Design Business Supercourse. Page Builder by choice. This is interesting, right? Elementor has got the biggest share there, but it is a little bit less than it previously was. Gutenberg is higher, which doesn't surprise me so much because there's a lot more noise about it. There's more influencers and videos and solutions and Spectra quickly, loads of stuff coming out. Divi is on the way down. I won't say anything about that, but Divi is on the way down. Bricks is on the way up. Does not surprise me there either. Beaver is on the way down. Again, that doesn't surprise me. And Oxygen is on the way down as well. Improvements in Elementor, like the loop grid, and we just saw the mega menu and things come out. You might see a lot of traction go back to Elementor, but Bricks is doing quite well as well. So these results, not completely surprising. The ones that are going down, again, doesn't completely surprise me, but I am interested to see where does this one go next year? Is it going to start to go back upwards? So where are your clients coming from, hey? Most people, 73% or 74% are coming from referrals, word of mouth. A bulk of ours are word of mouth referrals, and I talk a lot about how to get clients in the super course below. Networking, yeah, you know, local community, business groups, you know, just connecting with people, basically. Organic is only 8%. And this is actually very, very true. We all think that the minute we get our portfolio websites out there, people are going to find us on Google and come on running over to us. It doesn't always work like that. And often you've got to treat your website and your portfolio like a landing page where now you go to town or hopefully clarify what you do, what the costs are, and why it's good for them to kind of work with you, that you know what you're talking about. You have a level of expertise and a reputation. But just getting it directly from people landing on your website is difficult. Word of mouth, networking are the ones that really do work a lot better. Paid adverts, only about 2%. That again doesn't surprise me. I am fed up to the bone with sponsored adverts everywhere at the moment. Hey, we'll build a website. Hey, we do it for $69. Hey, we do it for $50. We won't even build you a website, but give us your money anyway. All over the place, right? I mean, like, come on, all over the place. Sorry, I got a bit carried away then. Cold calling, I'm not a fan of cold calling or cold emailing. You do that to me and you're going to get a damn good telling off. But a lot of people do that. If you are going to do it, you've got to make it very personalized and humanized. Talk to them, tell them. Do your research. Don't just go, hey, you know, website. Don't just tell me what I already know. Tell me my problem. Tell me how you're going to help me get up higher in Google rankings. What's wrong with my page? What are my competitors doing? Do you know anything about my sales? What can you do to help me out? Maybe rework my homepage, my hero banner, when you email me so I can see that you're actually talking to me rather than, hey, we work with websites and we've looked at your website and we think we can really help you out. Really? Do you know how many people contact me and go, hey, we're web designers and we think we can help you to design a website. What? Have you even looked at my website? And you're asking me, how dare you? Okay, I've composed myself again. What about email marketing? Do you do any of that? 64% say no. You're missing a trick here. Newsletters, subscribers, subscription lists, right? You should be building up a mailing list. That is how you let people know about new offers that you got going on, or just basically something you're working on, or like we've got the super course down below. What kind of content do you create for your agency? Well, I kind of work on the audio, the video, and the written. Surprisingly, 37% say none. I don't like to outsource. I like to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. Do you have a well-defined niche? 44% said no. 20% said yes, 35% said somewhat. I'm going to change the somewhat, I think, Kyle, to like, you what? But anyway, the 44% that said no, that's not completely a bad thing, if I'm honest, okay? Nichifying allows you to, centralize on a particular industry and target that market on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, networking, and all of that. And it means that your landing page and the websites you build, you can build up a name for yourself. Maybe you build websites for writers. Is that all writers? Fiction writers, romantic writers? You can build up a profile like that. There is an argument for and against that, okay? Because sometimes you can nicheify so much that you're in a very specialist market, but how big is that market? Let's say you're going to build websites for people that have walked on the moon. Very limited now, aren't you? So you got to think about, and I'm not talking about Minecraft moon, okay? I'm talking about the actual moon, okay? So nichifying can work for you and against you if it's too specialized. Do you do a lot of outbound marketing? We do. I mean, we're on social media, we do YouTubing, you know, we're part of forums, live chats and things like that. So yeah, you know, we would fall into the 13%, but 87 don't. And often I find the 87% that aren't really engaged in any outbound marketing, they're the ones that struggle with how to get clients. Not all of them, okay? I know you're going to say, well, that's true. I don't do any, but I'm fine. Yeah, I know you might be fine, but there's a bulk of people who really, really do struggle with this because they're not putting themselves out there. There's no brand building. There's no promotion. There's no nothing. I'm not saying do paid adverts. I'm saying get yourself out there. Otherwise, why would anyone find you? Now, what Kyle has done really, really well as well is basically giving you the facility to go and look at all the data from the 677 replies for this entire huge treasure chest of information. There is a video here as well, but if you want to go over here to access the database, here you go. You don't need to log in. And you basically get access to kind of like all the fields we've talked about, but there is more information here as well, okay? Not just what we revealed. So what we gave you, or what Kyle's given you above and summarized, was like all of the 667 averaged or summarized. What you now get, though, is to start looking at it by country as well. So you might want to go in here and say, I'm going to filter by this field. I might scroll down and go for United Kingdom like that. You can add more as well. You don't have to just add one country. And if you don't want to work on it on the Airtable or how this has been set up, you can click the three dots here, download as a CSV. And if you're very good with Microsoft Excel, you can start doing pivot tables and, you know, analyzing data, or even import the data into like something like Tableau or Power BI, and again further analyze the information. But it's really, really cool what he's done here. I mean, the amount of effort he's put into it, he deserves a huge amount of credit for this, so well done, Carl. But I hope my video on all of this was enough to kind of give you a little bit of insight into the WordPress community, thanks to Carl and the admin bar, and obviously my views and opinions on it as well. So please do go and check it out. The link is below. Hey, I'm Imran, Web Squadron. I did get permission from Carl to do this, by the way, okay? So I haven't just jumped on and pinched his stuff. No, he gave me permission to do this. But please subscribe, share, and follow him, me, and everyone else. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat.